King Papa Dude, welcome to the stream. Let me know how the volume is.
Can you share in the one we're in so I can see?
Oh yeah, sure.
Otherwise, I can't see nothing. I'm gonna be on time delay like the rest of them.
Okay, let me think real fast. I just need to do one more thing.
Take your time.
Let's just...
I'm working on this Juno PSA.
Cool.
For the last time I'm a Eurofant.
Okay. Let's turn my mic up. Alright, perfect. May have to sacrifice a little bit of the music because Patrick's coming in the same channel as the game. Game volume is pretty low. Hopefully you can still hear a little bit of it, but we'll take priority to the voices. Alright, so how's everybody doing? So we're going to stream a little bit of the demo, and before we get started, game is currently on Kickstarter. You can use that exclamation point Kickstarter if you want to find out about it. And if you want to play the demo, there's links on the campaign. I think last time I checked, it was about an hour ago, we're about to hit 20 grand. So we're doing great on the fundraising. Our goal is to get 35 by October 1st. So thanks everyone for the support. Anyway, I appreciate it. We got a good little audience here today. With me is Pat.
Hey.
He's the director for the game. I'm Tyler, composer and producer. We're just going to play through the game and just sort of talk about it. So, should we read the text?
No.
Okay.
I think we just talk about what they're saying, stuff like that.
Okay. Why don't you do that?
Yeah. Color commentary. I'm in it.
Oh. Greetings. Alright. What's up, Jason?
Hey. This is, I can't see, so Tyler, you'll just have to read to me what's going on, because I'm 5 seconds ahead like you are. So if any questions come up, just shout them out.
Were you talking about from the chat?
Yeah, I can't see the chat.
Oh.
Because I'm 5 seconds ahead, like you are.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we just getting started, Chris. So, basically, this is a little thing it's just not going to be in the final game. But the characters are just talking about the demo. So, maybe you can talk about why we picked this chunk of the game for the demo.
Sure, demo is in the middle of the game because there are 8 characters, but they start in 4 separate stories, 2 characters each, and then they slowly come together. So you have 4 chapters of 2 characters, then 2 chapters of 4 characters, and then you have all 8 characters together, 1 party, and then you do a lot. Most of your fighting is done before in that configuration. So you've got lots of swapping. The tag team combat, which is sort of the bedrock of our combat system, which is swapping another character instantly. All the characters were sitting in the back row are just sitting there regaining their AP so they can come in and just cast crazy spells and then swap out again.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to the swapping. But that's essentially why we wanted to pick this chapter, is that so you could have that full 8-person party swapping. But then, of course, it required some context, like, hey, we're in the middle of the game, so you're not going to understand a lot of this stuff, and the context is going to be a little weird, and we're actually hiding some spoiler stuff from you, which, you'll be glad about that later.
Right. So just showing a little bit of the menu. Pretty standard stuff, so your stats. The nice thing about the stats in this game is that they're pretty easy to understand. Luck and evasion, for instance, are straight 1 to 100, 1 to 1. So luck affects your crit stat, your crit chance. Evasion obviously affects how much you dodge. I think evasion has a level component too, so if you're a higher level than the enemy, it helps. But if you have 100 luck, you have 100 crit. Pretty straight ahead, right?
Yeah, so, almost everything in the game is normalized to either 100 or 200.
Yeah. Yeah, like for instance, Ben has a 31 luck, because I gave him this +7 luck, so he's got 31% chance to crit. Ben's kind of an interesting character in which his spells can actually crit, which you might see a little bit in a little bit.
Yeah, but, we wanted to go for like luck-based gameplay for him, in that luck and support, and that his story is all about how he randomly gained magic powers.
Right.
No spoiler there. It happens in like the first 2 minutes of his chapter. So he randomly gains magic powers, and nobody is expecting that, and he's quite surprised and doesn't know how to handle them. So he's got a lot of sort of luck-based gameplay, but he's also a support character in the sense that he does a lot of buffing. But that fits more with his personality. He's a cook, so he likes to help other people and make them happy.
Right.
So that's more a function of his personality than his circumstances.
All right, I'll just show you a few config things we have going on. Might be a few more. I think I'm pretty sure we're adding key binding, rebinding for the game pack. I'm playing on an Xbox controller, but you can affect the message speed if you like it slow, medium, fast, instant. You can disable flashes. I usually keep them. I'll disable them for now. Some people like. I like holding a button to run, but some people it's uncomfortable. So if you want to hold the walk, you run by default. These are more PC options, and then obviously volume controls. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Yeah, this first scene is just a little bit of a character setting. At this point in this game, you would have been spent a decent amount of time with these characters. This scene works well for the demo.
Yeah, but I might scale this back a little bit because they've already spent a whole chapter together. These four.
Right. Basically, at this point in the story, they've been told to come to these archives to find a magic book. And,
by Chad Zeus. Kirau knows he's an ancient mage. Of course, there's an ancient mage who tells you what to do. This is a JRPG. What are you thinking?
You see that Ben's yelling in all caps. He's speaking another language.
Or he's speaking their language. They're all speaking these two languages that are mutually incomprehensible. Agatha is speaking Gerond, her native language, and Alexandra and June are speaking Rianese, which is like mutually intelligible with Gerond. So they understand each other pretty easily. But Ben speaks Taikik, which is very, very distant from those two languages. So he's having quite a time learning Gerond. Although he's doing a good job. He's only been speaking for a few weeks, but he's already getting sentences and stuff.
So you see this little treasure here. Remember that for later.
Yeah,
can't really
the big
get
treasure
it.
chest.
Can't get it now. It's going to be
we're
one of
gonna
those
spoil the
every
location.
dungeon. What's that?
We're going to spoil the location of that in this stream. So anyone who watches this stream is actually going to get it.
Yeah, so I won't bother talking to every NPC, but a few of them will just kind of. This is my favorite NPC actually. This is definitely going to change in the full game. But he says, if this project gets funded, I'll have extra supplies to sell. I'm talking about this archaeological dig. What did you think I meant? I thought you meant the Kickstarter, dude. Exclamation point Kickstarter, by the way. So, can't leave. Got to talk to Dr. Dossier?
Yeah, Dossier. I think it's Dossier if you're going with the francophone theme that the Alexandra's country has. Anna, Privatera, she was the first one to pronounce it that sort of way when she was streaming this yesterday, because she, I guess she grew up speaking French at home in Quebec.
Right. Yeah. So basically, they're just asking about getting passage through the archives, and they're talking about how no one's really been really far down the archives. There's a few things that are kind of roadblocks. And so they had him a letter from Kronos, and she doesn't believe that's him, because it's been about 200 years since he's been seen.
Yeah, he's a historical figure. He's still alive, as ancient mages tend to be.
It'd be like if you,
Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah, I was about to say George Washington. You went into the Smithsonian and you said, I'm going to be the new curator for the Smithsonian. I have a letter from George Washington.
and the handwriting was there, and the ink was fresh. And the archivist was just like, well, this is a really good forgery. And you'd be like, no.
Right, and so Ben just went up and
cast magic.
Cast some magic, and so
in Alexandra's country, they don't believe magic still exists. Except in wild creatures. They don't believe it exists in humans anymore. They've all read about it, especially Dr. Dossier. She's read about magic, and she's pretty sure that it did exist, but she's never seen a human use it. So when Ben uses it, she's a little staggered.
Oh, I forgot to mention. So all the encounters are on the screen. You have to engage them, walk straight into them. And let's get started. So on the right, your turn bar. Pretty straight ahead. If you played FF10, the system's very similar to that.
Very similar.
So Agatha's kind of cool. She's got 2 weapons. She attacks twice. She's got one of the better melees in the game. But if you played SOA, Shadows of Adam, we have the same AP system where you regain a little bit of your AP pool back. So we're going to just take advantage of that. Let's see if I can take advantage of that 31% crit rate. Damn, I didn't get a single crit, but I did get 4 hits. So that move actually has a chance to do, let's see, 2 to 5 hits. Yeah. So kind of theming with Ben's randomness. He's not a very disciplined mage. Later in the game will be Cordelia and Jerome. They're more studied. So Ben can't really control it. And so we try to reflect a little bit of that in gameplay, but in a fun, positive way.
Right. Like it's all you start at functional, and if you're lucky, you get exceptional. There's not that balance of you might get less than you need.
Yeah, he's not gonna hit him. He's not gonna hit himself or anything.
Yeah, you get 2 shots per thunderstorm at least, but you could get more. So that's nice, but not essential.
Right, and he's also a cook, so of course he has an AoE cooking spell that heals everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, Juna's kind of fun. So skeletons, if you played D&D, are weak to what they call it in D&D, bludgeon, pummel, like
all blunt damage. So like blunt crush damage.
Yeah, what's it called in D&D?
I want to say I think it's crushing damage.
Okay, yeah. So
crushing weapons or yeah. It depends on your edition, but anything that's like a blunt style weapon, we have physical types in the game in addition to magical elements. So we have slash, blunt, and pierce, and Juna's basic attack is blunt.
Right, and you can see in the weapon, it will say she uses her head. She doesn't have a weapon. She attacks with her head.
She does not have prehensile hands.
Can unequip it. But yeah, that move I used, Slam, was one of her stronger single targets.
Yeah, big blunt attacks.
Has a chance of stunning as well. Okay, so this ghost I'm not going to be able to hit. Because you can't hit a ghost. So, got to get around with some magic. Let's do Ben.
Well, while on the topic of Juna's peculiarity, she doesn't have hands, so she can't equip weapons. She also doesn't. She can't actually speak. Normally, she uses her air. She's a air mage, so she's able to wind mage, and she's able to make the air vibrate to make human language.
Oh, is that right?
But she doesn't. Yeah, she doesn't actually have the. She doesn't have the throat anatomy to be able to make human language out of her throat, but she can make it happen with her magic.
I didn't know that.
Yep, that's in her chapter, or in Alexandra's chapter.
Alright, rats are gonna go down fast to Agatha. And one thing I didn't show, I didn't talk about. So you get 10 AP back every round, but if you pick a defensive option, you'll get an extra 10, but also get some buffs. So this will buff Ben's defense, magic defense, and luck. Actually, let's see if that will help him crit next time. We'll just kind of chip away at this guy a little bit. I don't think this will... Actually, let's do this. So actually, this isn't the latest build, but because I haven't downloaded it yet. But we just changed the move a little bit. That also... It's a aggro drawer, so she basically draws the aggro towards her. But some bosses can resist it, so it's a 100% proc rate, but some bosses might have 25% resistance or whatever. Because if you could always get it off, you'd basically completely demoralize their AI patterns. For the most part, all debuffs and stat specs are almost all 100%, with few exceptions. But to make that move have a little more utility, it also is going to debuff an attack down, which cannot be resisted. So it's never a waste. All right, let's see. So I got a luck buff. Oh, there we go. Big crit. Let's do a little bit of healing. Someone on another stream thought it said Mother's Milk, which doesn't really make sense.
That'll be the joke version. We wanna if we made $1 million on our Kickstarter, we're gonna do a new game minus. Or it's like a demake of the game. $1 million stretch goal. And we'll have all those things. Oh, I think you have photosensitivity mode on.
Yeah, I put off the flashes.
So you in the game, there's a photosensitivity mode that disables lots of the flashing effects. All of our flashing effects are below the hertz of most common photosensitivity issues, so you won't get bushwhacked by anything, but we do have a mode to disable them.
Maybe you can talk about what's happening in this scene.
Sure. Alexandra is the only living Earth mage because people in her country think magic doesn't exist. Other countries have robust magical infrastructure, but in her country they think magic doesn't exist anymore. And so Juna is beginning to intuit that, and Juna and Ben are like, if this book here, it feels like a boulder, right? Oh, it's probably Earth magic because they know it exists. To them, it's natural. She's the only living Earth mage, so she might be the only person who can pick it up. Also, in her chapter, an earlier chapter, she has demonstrated feats of intense strength while not even trying. And other people have sort of intuited that that's probably her Earth magic, allowing her to do things, but she's just not even aware of it. She's that sort of anime trope of like someone who has great powers and doesn't know how to control them. But it forms a puzzle.
Right.
The book, you hold a book, and the book makes a barrier disappear. But the book barriers are all elementally segregated.
Right.
You can hold both books at once, but then all the barriers won't let you pass. So if you need to get past a barrier, you need to drop a book and only have one.
Right. And all these things I've been finding in shelves, which if you kind of look for the ones that stand out, you get these things called tomes, which are basically like your tabs from Chrono Trigger. And like I mentioned,
Exactly.
1 point of luck, that's 1 extra crit. I'm giving that to Ben.
And then there's at least except for the speed tomes, there's like 10 in the game, of each at least. So and then we have stat system because everything is normalized to either 100 or 200. 10 of a stat matters a lot. It's not like getting 10 attack in Final Fantasy VI, where you're talking about 30 damage when you're doing thousands. You're talking about 5 magic is like 250 damage when bosses have 8,000. So you're talking about like a 5 to 10% increase, or even more. If you do like 10 to 15 magic, you're talking about maybe as much as a 20% increase in your damage output. Which, if you play like an MMO, that's just like flips your wig.
Right.
However, enemies also just get much stronger towards the end of the game. We didn't make enemies damage sponges, but they do start to really hurt you a lot more.
Right.
As the game goes on, so you really need to be on top of them. And like, one philosophy we have is that not every battle, but a lot of battles have what they call like a keystone enemy, who is the most dangerous enemy. And often, if you hit that enemy with the right spell, you can knock them out before they act.
Right. Like those rodents, mammal creatures are generally weak to slash and pierce damage. And Agate just happens to have both of those, and she's very speedy. So I can kind of take advantage of her speed to get rid of those guys fast. In fact, what I might do is actually remove that and give her... So now she's got 10 speed. She should basically outspeed everything. Get rid of this. Alright, Ben has 42 luck now. So pretty nice. Alright, let's give him an ether, actually. Give him an ether. Hold on. Grab my phone because my laptop died with my Twitch stream.
Did you just lose
Alright.
the stream?
Yeah, I just have to get our Twitch chat up, rather.
Okay.
My laptop had said 60% and then it just turned off, so I don't know what's up with that. It's an old laptop.
God bless progress bars.
Okay, there we go. Anyway, if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask.
Yeah.
Alright, let's...
And as soon as we can see them, we will answer them.
Yes. Okay, here we go. Yeah, okay, now I outspeed this guy. Take him out.
Pew pew!
It's a pretty weak AoE, but this guy can be threatening if you don't know how to deal with him. So close enemies you can't hit, right? They're immune to physical.
Yeah.
So we gotta hit him with some magic.
You'll have like your ghosts and your stone enemies, things like that. They'll be just immune to physical. There's going to be a lot of immunities, but never to something that you don't have. There's not a danger in this game of not having the thing. You just need to swap to the element you need. So we really tried to encourage swapping, and make swapping really positive, rather than making not swapping a negative.
Right.
We wanted to make actually swapping a positive. That's more of our design philosophy as well. Is it's not punishing, not as much punishing ignorance as rewarding insight.
Right. Exactly. Because I feel like sometimes it could get a little like checkpointy or like
Yeah.
quizzy.
Spot
Okay, now it's the
checking, yeah.
now it's the flying enemy. Better bring in Waka. That's cool, and that's on paper a pretty smart design, but it should feel more fun rather than like busy work.
And
So
if you want to figure out how to break the game and really just beat the crap out of everything, like we're cool with that. We're not married to our balance. Like some people are just so married to their balance, and that's not what this game is about.
yeah, I want people to be able to express themselves and use Ideally, I'd love if all the characters were getting an equal kind of thrust in battle and they all had their niches that could be exploited, but people just really want to use Juna in their party at all times, and so be
Yeah.
it. And that's fine with me. Just need it to be fun. So I'm just going to fight a few extra battles just to get some EXP. And then I'm just sort of... At this point, I kind of know what everyone's weak to, so I'm just going to use their weaknesses. Might.
All the week you might not be able to see the detail or depending on what device you're watching on, but whenever someone's weak to something, it pops up on the screen. So you'll you'll see like weak, and then
Right.
from then on you'll have that knowledge stored. Maybe we should do something more robust with that later.
Yeah, I think we
post-demo,
have a
but-
plan to, like, save the information somehow.
Yeah, put it over the character, but we really want to like save information that you've exploited. We're not, it's not 1994. We don't need you to have notes in your lap while you're playing.
Right. I'm gonna take advantage of those free turns and just get some AP back. Because
Yeah,
I was looking at the right side and I saw that Ben and Alex had a turn before Agatha. I knew Agatha could finish the guy off, so I just decided to defend really fast and get a few AP back. Okay. Let's look there. Go get this one chest. It's still a little low, but that's fine. Yeah, he gets it back, I guess. Let's see. I think this should one-shot the ghost. Okay, good. And then Juna, really all she can do is this. Her magic is pretty mid tier, but gets the job done. Her healing is good though, and her slam move is really strong.
And she's beefy.
Yeah, she's very beefy. Alright. So they talk about how we're not going to get through this. Nothing we can do about that. So we're going to examine this. So this is a different color, and they're not quite sure how to get through this one.
So here's your other party.
Alright, now we got these four. Nikolai, who uses guns, is a sergeant in the army. Cordelia, staff, mage. She's probably the most tropey, like, design-wise, but she's a fun character. She's got a lot of utility. And then Jerome, he's basically a paladin. He's a healer with sword skills. He's probably a little more tilted towards the healing than the sword, but he's pretty good at both. He's got good HP and good stack. Nikolai has the strongest basic attack in the game, because, he has a gun, so it should do the most damage, right? Looking at you, Barrett. And then Zikoran, sorry.
The cattle.
Zikoran, sorry. He's a tough one to explain. I'll just have to show what he does in battle, but let's see.
He's like your, if you've ever played Guild Wars, he's like your Mesmer or your Affliction Warlock in WoW. Sort of like he does a lot of nifty support and debuff type things, and can actually put out decent damage. So he's a high magic character, but he's also kind of fragile. He's probably the second most fragile character after Cordelia. You can beef him up so that he's dodgy.
Yeah.
He can dodge a lot of attacks, but he just doesn't have a lot of HP.
He has a 0 luck stat. Which I thought was interesting.
we've attempted to justify our tropes in the game rather than just throwing someone. Yeah, but this ancient library. It's like we try and like talk about like what would it be like if that were real? What would be the concerns and what would be going on?
Yeah,
And if you had an ancient library, a lot of those books would be rotten. That's sort of what they were trying to prevent here, but with consequences.
Alright, so let's just go ahead and drop this. So the scene, they're basically going to talk about how do we get past this, and Nikolai's like, hey, you're pretty good at magic, right? Can't you get rid of this? She's like, yeah, I don't really have the time. And so how do we get past it? And she basically says, this is a wind magic one. None of us are wind mages, so we got to find another one. This will actually be deactivated later, but right now, we're just telling the player that when you have this party, nothing this party can do about it.
That is what I call condition information. Is that you have no control over this. The state of this affordance is non-interactive for you.
Right.
You'll need to come back later.
Right. Nikolai is fires, Zik is fire, and then both of these are water. So they just don't have the element.
Everybody from the same country uses the same element magic. They're all dependent on 4 magical sources that are spread around the world.
Alright. Nice dodge. So Cordelia has a really good AoE that's actually quite cheap. It's probably the cheapest, most effective AoE spell in the game. Because she's sort of a master wizard. Or mage. And so I wanted to reflect that in her toolkit. In fact, she's got a lot of different stuff she can do. She's got a self magic buff, which is pretty significant. I think it's like a 50% power increase. And then she's got 2 debuffs, which are always going to work, which do pretty significant, like 30-40%, something like that debuff. One does to the target's magic, one is to the defense and evasion. I like using that one and stacking that with Alexander's Boulder Dash. And the enemy ends up getting like a 60% defense reduction, so they get really squishy. Blizzard, AoE, water. Ice Spike is single target water, but lowers target speed. That debuff is 100%. And then Magic Mist is a AoE accuracy debuff. So pretty wicked.
Magic Mist is, in fact, if I remember correctly, Magic Mist is the first spell mentioned in Gary Gygax's Chainmail. So it's the first spell that ever crossed even the proto RPG. And it's either that or Fireball. Can't remember. But yeah, it's like the earliest of the early, before RPGs were even really RPGs. So it had to go in.
What is it about fireballs? They're in fighting games too. It's a big part of like the Shoto archetype.
I mean, like, yeah, it's just like it's like an obvious expression of power.
I wonder if the first use of fireball magic was in fantasy.
I'm trying to think. I don't remember the Lord of the Rings having any fireballs.
If anyone in chat knows.
I mean, you have your dragons who breathe fires.
That might be it.
There's definitely mention. I remember mention of like balls of flame, because people would have seen those, of course, as buildings collapsed and gouts of flame went up from them. But the same. I remember seeing an interview with a Turkish speaker, and what he said when he saw a fireball from a natural gas explosion, he called it a sword of light. So it's really just a metaphor describing a certain thing that happened to stick, but like which all cultures have experienced, but they have different words for it.
Right. Oh, there you go. Alright. So in this party, so in the whole game, there's 2 healers that have a single target heal, Nikolai and Juna. Nikolai's is not the strongest single target heal, but it does have a regen, which is nice. And then 2 party members have AoE heals, Jerome and Ben. Ben has a weaker AoE, but it's a little cheaper, so it could be better depending on your perspective. And Jerome's is pretty beefy. It's nearly a full heal. So, healing is just one of those things you just can't kind of make a game without. The AoE heal, in my opinion, is like the staple of turn-based RPGs. Okay, so Zakaron is outspeeding everyone because I gave him an extra 1 speed, so I think he's at a 10. So I'm just going to open up with this AoE fire move, which inflicts a burn, 100%. It's a nice way to start combat with. Let's see what I want you to do. I'm going to lower this guy's defense and evasion, and then I'm just going to pummel him with Nikolai and Jerome. This actually might do a lot of damage. Yep. So there you go. And then I'm just going to finish him off with this. Boom. So that move actually is pretty peculiar. It's split into 2 parts, and the first half is a little weaker than the second. The second half basically procs at the beginning of the target's next turn. So what had happened is I had the turn before them, so I hit them with the first part, and then the second part immediately flew out because it was their turn. If that makes sense. And so it can be used kind of tactically if you can look at your turn bar and want to maybe try to prevent someone from going or something. Nikolai actually has kind of a move like that too, called what's it called? What's the name of it?
Trip Mine. Yeah, Trip Mine.
Well, I guess I should explain this. So this is just a simple 1 through 9 puzzle. You go right, you go up 3. You go left, you go back 2. There's a book that explains it, and people get really worked up over it. I just literally Saffron City's gem it. I just go until I figure it out. It's very simple.
Yeah, lots of people brute force. We've never had anyone get stuck. Everyone gets real upset, really real worried, but then nobody ever gets stuck. So that's good. One of the things I've learned working on this math game that I work on for kids is that people will psych themselves out of being able to do something that they are totally capable of doing. And they'll be like, I can't possibly. And then it's like if you could just get them to try, they'll be like, oh, actually, this was pretty easy. So that's all you need to get to in game design. It's just trying things, and if it's, then you'll know. But getting people to try is sometimes tricky.
So that's an AoE move that nah, I don't think so, Jason. I think what would happen is people would be like, oh, I don't understand what happened. I think that's one of those things you just have to accept what trade-off is the best, or the least worst, I guess.
Talking about the magic maze.
He's saying maybe put the book in the magic maze.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I had a scene about it, but because they've been talking so much, I might put that in. But yeah, nobody's ever failed at it, and that's my real metric. It's like people complain, but if they complain and don't fail, we just keep going.
It's so nice, so small.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so I meant to mention that last move that Jerome did. He has kind of a weak AoE, but it has a chance to inflict silence, so it's a really good mage killer. The moves that don't have 100% proc rates are few and far between, but usually it's because they're either AoE and have a pretty devastating debuff, or when the debuff does proc, it's really severe. So I'll point out examples when I get to them. Let's just attack, actually. I guess I'll just use my weak fire move. So is Singe like an actual fire move?
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
It's fire and magic. It's just that he's he's unbalanced.
He's not a great mage.
Yeah, his heals are decent. It's nice to have a guy like that heal in addition to doing physical damage.
Right. Just getting rid of that. Use Jerome's heal. There we go. Alright, let's go ahead. Alright, start with my scorch. Just get it off. All right. Then ooh. Actually, I'll just go ahead and do this. Debuff that guy, and then hit him with. Yeah, flash run. It's fine. Nice, and then this should kill him. And then, let's see. I want to conserve some of his AP, so I'm just going to attack. Oh, yeah, his weapon has a debuff on it, which is kind of cool. So, uh-oh. So I'm going to take advantage of Nikolai's really high attack and just use that. Okay, perfect. Let's go ahead and get some AP back. Yeah, the nice thing about the defend moves, as opposed to where SOA, how SOA was that SOA was round based, so you like selected all your actions and then they were done in order. You could select defend, but you wouldn't get your AP until the round was over, and sometimes you just end up killing the enemy. But in this game, it's like as soon as I select this, I get the AP back. So I see that Zakaron's going to go last before this next enemy, so I'm just going to get some AP back, and then hit him with this. First part, then second part goes up. Good. So you can really like smartly plan your AP restore.
Yeah. And the main game will be balanced so that it's tough enough, but there'll be a lot of optional content. I mean, we're selling optional content as part of the Kickstarter, and the optional content is going to kick your ass unless you really know what you're doing.
Oh, and yeah, keep in mind, like, I played this demo 20 million times.
Yeah.
I know exactly what to do. In fact, when we get to the boss, I'm just going to demolish it for fun.
But the main story, it's like you do it. You could probably do most things on the first try, maybe a couple like second tries on some tough bosses. No grinding probably necessary. Just as long as you pay attention, you're gonna be all right.
Yeah, and if you die in battle, you get to retry the battle.
Yeah,
with no.
Like you just made a stupid mistake. You're like, ah, crap. Then you don't have to load a save or anything.
Oh,
and we'll have
another
auto
thing I should
saves.
mention is you can save anywhere.
And we have auto saves we will have auto saves in the full version.
Okay, just knock these guys out. This is kind of the last battle for a while. Well, let's just attack. Nikolai's, like I said, has the highest attack in the game. Very nice. This should do it. All right. One second. I messed them up. Oh no, I gotta quit real fast. Oh my god. Hold on a second. Give me 1 second. There's a bug we just fixed last night, but we didn't put in the build yet, where if you match through the victory music really, really fast, sometimes it gets hung up and it actually doesn't cancel. So I actually did that. Hold on. Should be fine now. Yeah. Here you go. Alright. Back to that. Alright, we are back.
As you were doing that, I literally tried to press my ZSNES accelerator key. I have such a habit of that now from playing RPGs on PC.
I like Zakaron's shocked face. So silly. Okay, so at this point, our man Z is gonna get a vision, or a kind of an inkling that the others are around. Oh, but they can see him. What's going on with that? And Ben figures out what to do.
He's not stupid, as Agatha actually points out. He
Now
is weird.
Now we got a little swapping puzzle, so swap between the parties. Remember that chest we saw way long ago? So if anyone's watching, taking notes. Yes, nice, perfect. So now we got that one, which does some AP region, or not AP, HP region, not region, I guess drain.
Yeah, drain. Yeah.
So we're gonna solve this puzzle together, and I'm just gonna go ahead and blast through it. Try to grab everything I can.
There's a lot of loot. We decided that the game would just have a lot of loot, because what's better than getting loot? And not like potions either. Not just. I hate when you go out of your way and it's like you got a Phoenix down. It's like I just fought an optional boss to get a Phoenix down.
Right.
Hate that. What loot? Meat and potatoes.
Alright. Them through. Oh, a speed tone. Those are very rare.
There's gonna be like 5 or 6 in the entire game.
Oh, I gotta have the right book.
And you will definitely put all 5 or 6 on Juna, since everybody seems to love her. And if you did that, she would be an absolute monstrosity.
I actually think she might get worse, because the benefit of Juna is having characters that are faster than her, which can set her up to really explode.
Possibly.
As a secret.
I mean, you could just set her up, then she just acts 3 times. Like,
oh, that's true. That's true. Alright, so this party's gonna go ahead and finish. Gonna have lots of tomes. And in the new build, there's gonna be a block here, because this is actually not anywhere you need to go. But,
it's in both versions of the archives, which architecturally makes sense. But gameplay-wise, it's confusing people, so we didn't do that.
And now we're at the palimpsest, or as our friend in the Discord calls it, the Pimples It. And Cordia is a big hurt, so she's like having time of her life. Something down before I forget. Okay. Oh, do all you guys work on different maps in the game, or does one of you primarily do the mapping? Pat's
I did most of the mapping, but other people have tweaked things because I frequently make mistakes, and I rely on these guys to catch them. They're very good at that.
Right.
Could not have done it without them.
We'll find the yellow book.
I'm real good about big picture stuff and plowing through work, but then I also just leave like a wake of destruction behind me. It takes a lot of different kinds of talents and skills to get through a game.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Oh, thanks, F Fire Soul. Yeah. Yeah. We're hopefully bring that same level to this game. Do our best for show. Oh, another speed town. Nice. All right. All right. Rival. Now the whole shebang.
Yeah, Zeus. Or if you have the flashes on, there's a thunderbolt and everything.
Right.
That's how he likes to enter.
Kind of reminds me of Raiden from Mortal Kombat, where they like always joke about that.
You got Virgin Dumbledore and Chad Zeus.
Who's Virgin Dumbledore?
Well, Dumbledore, like he just walks in, or like him or Gandalf. They just sort of walk up to wherever they're going. Not Garanos. He teleports in with a lightning bolt. There's another flash that you won't see here where the parties merge. You'd be like, what? That was it? It's like, yeah, son.
Basically, he's just saying, as long as he's near the palimpsest, he can sort of like see where everyone is. They can see each other. And there's some guy going around airships, and you got to go stop him. And Alex isn't sure she likes that. She's like, I didn't really come to do this.
Alexandra came to only met a lot of these people by accident. She was trying to get rid of her magic powers, because she didn't like what they were doing. But as soon as she was near the rest of them, the reason why she needed to get rid of her magic powers was sort of not necessary anymore. But now she's like, wait, there's all these consequences. That she has to be part of this giant adventure. She's not. Because, like, not everybody... it was one of the things we just wanted to address in, like, a JRPG is, like, everybody you meet is willing to go on this adventure and leave everything in their life behind. And you're just like, like, that trope is just like, really? So we wanted to have at least one character who was like, actually, I'm kind of doing this reluctantly.
Alright, now we have everyone. So, first thing I'm going to do is go through my... we kind of overloaded this dungeon with tomes. You might end up scaling it back a little bit. Let's see, strafe. And another thing we're going to be adding is when you're in this menu, instead of showing AP and HP, it will show your strafe stats, so you can like make a wise decision. But let me think. Who would benefit the most from strafe? Probably June. Probably Agatha. Give her that. So luck I'm going to give Ben, I guess. Evade. Okay with Agatha too. Speed. Oh. See, this is where, when we have that stat thing, it's going to be like 10, 6. June's got 6. So everyone's kind of 6 or 7. So June is the slowest. I'll give one to Juna. And then I'll give one to Agatha. Magic, let's give it to Cordelia. And then also I saw that there was a luck plus 20. So now he's at 57. Max HP plus 20. I'm going to give that to Alexandra. I'm also going to give her... This deck gives her an extra 5% regen. She has some moves that I really want to be using often, so I'm going to set her up that way. Yeah, let's get her. I'm just going to try to give as much magic power to Agatha as possible. Yeah, let's do that. Let's see. I guess I'll give Kara another feather. Okay. See if you're getting FF6 flashbacks, so am I.
That was the goal.
Yeah. It's only 8 characters, so not as bad as FF6 when you have to like go into a new town with a new dungeon with all 3 parties. If you go back here, the rope's been cut. So, gotta go southwest. They just keep telling you, go southwest, go southwest, go southwest.
People got really confused, so we made it impossible not to know.
Yeah, it's not like the fun of the game is figuring out where to go in this sense. Okay, so actually this isn't in the new build yet, we just had it yesterday, but I'll point out something that's kind of interesting. So this, now that I have 8 characters, 4 in the back, this swap little thing comes up, and actually it's going to glow or pulse until you use it the first time. So if I press L or R, shoulder buttons, or I press left right, it opens up this menu in which I can bring in anyone from the back row to instantly take their turn. So let's do that. Let's bring in, oh, I don't know. Let's bring in you. We're gonna do this. Put a mine on. Okay. So I got a 51% crit rate. Let's see how many crits I get. There's one. There's two. Not bad. Nice. And then let's bring in you. So attack. So that mine's gonna go off as soon as that pirate takes his turn. Probably kill him. Yep. Boom. He did. So this is the first time in the game where all 8 characters are together. And now the combat's going to get pretty fun. And Nikolai's going to sort of give some marching orders. He's going to talk about, you know, when his army fights, you know.
Yeah, he's in the army with they fight with magic, and so he knows what a large group of people who could use magic would probably be like.
Yeah, he's talking about, you know, the enlisted men are in the front and the officers are in the back, you know, drawing their magical powers. And he's like, everyone here is basically an officer, which is kind of funny because Nikolai isn't an officer. I guess he's a non-commissioned officer. You want to be super technical. He's a sergeant, right?
Yeah,
he's an NCO.
He starts off not able to use magic, but then some things happen that, of course, I mean, he's a JRPG protagonist. Of course, he can use magic, but he starts off not being able to. In his country, it's illegal, and there's some other obstacles to him being able to use magic. Over time, he gains access to that, and so that's how. But he still thinks about it, having been in the army for almost 10 years. He still thinks about it that way.
Okay. So now we're going to have a lot of battles. And then a boss battle. We're doing on time. Oh, we're doing great. Okay. I don't know. Any preferences for who I should use? We're going to make hopefully this menu feel like when you're using items and spells a little snappier. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically put all my front folks who have max AP. I guess she doesn't because she has a move that gives her 120. Now I'm gonna basically give everything to Cordelia that gives her more magic. Earrings, yeah, remove that. Remove. Yeah, she's got 50 magic. That's pretty good. I guess Juna, you're just getting that. So you can really like make your builds, the way you want to. And I want Cordelia's magic to be really high. Because
I mean, Cordelia is sort of the real character who's like just the one thing. It's like magic or go home.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much every other character has like 2 things they could do.
Right.
Cordelia, in compensation, she has significantly more spells than everybody else.
Oh my god, that was really powerful.
Yeah, they're weak to it though.
They're not weak. They're just not. They don't have super high magic, but I don't think they're weak to water. Should they be?
No. They should have a variety of weaknesses.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't make a lot of lore sense. It should just gameplay sense.
Yeah, I gave there's like 2 types of barbarians. One has high defense, one has high magic defense. Ooh, this could be bad. Yeah, so that move, actually the AI... So a lot of it, just a little behind the curtain stuff we do, like, a lot of the systems are just like a means to an end to create the right drama and emotion. And at this point in the game, we really wanted for the monsters to really hit hard and to specifically target characters that had the highest HP. Because the idea was thinking like, well, now you got 8 characters, so let's like gently nudge the player like, oh shit, my HP's low, what do I do? Oh, I'll bring these guys back in. Now you could keep these characters if you wanted, but you know, I'm gonna bring Ben in and get a heal off real fast. See, he actually wouldn't get the first turn in battle, but because I had to use the swap system, I was able to get him to kind of, sort of, cheat a little bit.
It's expediting. Will probably be the term.
That makes sense. I think this should go. This guy's, yeah, he's with the slash. Yeah, Cordea's strong because I've given her like plus 40 magic points. She's super cracked right now. Kind of just gave a lot of extra stuff in the demo to allow you to experiment. So Ben's having trouble. He's a lot of shape. And he's basically around like, you know, sergeant in the army.
Professional warriors.
Professional warriors. Oh, I just noticed something. Look at Nikolai's foot, Pat. He's like stepping on that.
Is he? We'll see. Stepping on the. There's a doodad there.
Yeah. I don't know how you place objects behind things. It's not. I've never noticed it in 6 months, so maybe it's not a big.
Change the layering, probably.
I'd say keep it. Just. It's probably not a big deal.
We'll wait for someone else. Yeah, we'll wait to see if somebody else points it out. Pro tip: if nobody's barking about the issues, it's not an issue.
Just because you notice it doesn't mean it's important. And that sounds really weird to say, but
never say that in a fight with your wife or husband, whoever you've got. Lots of loot. Gotta file those tasks.
Let's see this. Okay. What time is it? Okay, it's 20 minutes.
Cutscene. You can see some main plot here. We really tried to make it the story. The story has a main plot, and this won't make any sense in it. But we wanted to make the character plots, the character arcs, the most important thing, really, because it's about 8 characters. But we also wanted to be a main plot where they all have a common goal, and it matters. So it's not like Octopath. It's more like Final Fantasy VI, and that everyone has a point where they meet and where their interests align.
Right.
And this has to do with that.
Yeah, in Nikolai's chapter, he has to make some tough ethical choices. It's kind of like the general, like, it's kind of a twist on the soldier's plight, right? Like, what are soldiers supposed to do? Soldiers are supposed to kill people. And it's not as obtuse as that, but it's definitely kind of themes on that a little bit.
Yeah, what he just finds himself being assigned to do doesn't really jive with him, but so he has a number of problems that arise from what he's assigned to do and his unwillingness to do it.
But I'm guessing he was probably a pretty dutiful soldier.
Yeah, I mean, you don't
the
get to
rank
be
of sergeant. Yeah.
Right, you don't get to be a sergeant, but his job was very different before. He gets a new assignment right after the beginning of the game, and there's a whole war that starts. It's just his chapter and the chapters that stem from that are just kind of ugly, as war is. One need only open up any book about a war. You'll be reminded of it very quickly.
Yeah. Alright, let's see. There's a crit. 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 These guys all have high magic defense. I got unlucky with that one. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I need to make these wolf guys weak to slash. I forgot to do that. Let's see. Wolves. Weak slash pierce. The rats. Just completely spaced on that. I don't have a pile driver on me, sorry. Alright. Let's get some goodies. Okay. There's one more battle. I think. Yeah, there you go. Oh, nice dodge, Juna. Okay. Ben's turn. Let's bring in Cordelia. And have her Blizzard. And probably kill everyone.
Pew pew! That's what she do.
It's the shadows about him, too.
That's what she do.
Alright. Okay. If you go this way, get a little reminder like, yeah, maybe don't go that way. You can go that way if you want. I'll fight the optional boss. First, we're going to take on Apangorix. Oh god, I gotta keep remembering to do something before I look past. Chapangorix. Chadpangorix. He's not super Chad, I don't think.
Yeah, he's like he's got some used car salesman energy a little bit. Stab you with the back. He's more of a rogue than a warrior.
Alright. Good, I didn't get any. Okay. So let's see, what do we want to do? Let's see if I can get a bleed on him. There we go. Excellent. I'm going to read his mind so I can reveal his HP bar. He's weak to water.
This is lottery numbers.
Yeah, Cordelia's so good. Let's do that.
But
So
she's fishy.
She's squishy. So I'm going to basically try to stack debuffs onto buffs and just make her blow up. This could be bad if I get a stun. Okay, good. Let me think. How do I want to do this?
So Agatha would be the one with the probably a good vine whip on him.
There
Did
we
it
go.
land? Oh, there it is.
Does anyone else have a debuff for...
So yeah, I mean you think no, nobody else has a debuff, but you could just have Cordelia go, and then whoever's next after. So Agatha will be next. You could. Nah, that's her debuffs expire because you could Zikaron in and I don't know.
And then you
Yeah,
have
it's
another
not-
move that debuffs magic defense. Okay, anyway.
Later on, there's some ones that buff magic. I think.
Yeah.
Like Ben. Later on, you could have Ben do seconds on her. That one's really. I mean, yeah.
Actually, what I should have done is brought. Here we go. This is what I want. All right, they should do a lot of damage.
Wow.
Yeah, she's insane right now. Alright, let's see if I can proc that. There we go. Nice. It's literally not a big deal. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to Force of Nature her. She's still got charge up. She gets it for 3 turns. So we're still in good shape. They should... Might even kill him. Wow. And then we'll bring Ben in and energize her. And then he'll be dead. Okay, do your stupid buff. No big deal. Oh shit, I didn't kill him. Let's boulder dash him. Boom. Oh, I should have boulder dashed him first. So what you can do is set up a defense down, buff Actus attack, and then it's pretty good. Anyway, I just made mincemeat of the boss. If you know what you're doing, you can do that, and it's lots of fun. We got a little bit of time left, so I'll show the optional boss. But that's the demo, y'all. Anyone have any questions? Any comments? Happy to answer.
We are $230 away. 20,000.
Oh shit! All right, I got 23 minutes left. 230. So if we raise $10,
$10 a minute. If you can raise $10 a minute.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
If someone in the chat, actually, if you backed the game, you would kick Shadows of Adam anyway. I was gonna say I'll give you a copy of Shadows of Adam, but it's literally a reward.
If you back it, I think with $30, yeah.
Oh, I'll give you the soundtrack for Shadows of Adam.
Which is, I think that's actually at $50, but anyway.
I don't know. We don't have the soundtrack of Shadows of Adam, is it?
Anyone who's listening and wants to play Shadows of Adam for free, if you back Quartet at the end of the month, you get a full copy of Shadows of Adam if you back at a high enough level.
Oh,
So you get a whole ass JRPG right away, as soon as the campaign is over, and then you get this game about a year and a half later. Right. Value. Just talking about value.
So we created this optional boss just for people who want to just play a little bit more, and it was also great for me to play this because it helped me understand the systems we had designed a little better.
Our AI system is intricate, but really usable. Like, you do a lot with it pretty quickly.
Right.
Sort of like puzzle pieces, like putting AI puzzle pieces together. You can really just throw things together and go pretty nuts. Anyway, this guy uses every debuff known to the game.
Let's see. Actually, this is what I want to do. I'm just gonna have this. I'm only gonna hurt this guy with Juno just for fun.
It's a Juno only speedrun. That'll be a category on speedruns of our game.
Let's see. How do I make it better? Oh, this. Yes. Holy shit. Okay, here we go. Not bad. Let's reapply that. And then, I guess just. Oh shit, this could hurt. Nox is gonna die. This might not be the best strategy, but I'm gonna try to make it work. Hey, King Papa. Basically, when SOA was finished, I guess his defense down is expiring. We kind of started, me and Pat started talking about this game. I'd say like in earnest, maybe 2-3 years ago, and then this last year was really turned on the jets and got a lot of stuff done. Basically worked on this demo area for 7 months. Just getting the systems really good.
Yeah, I mean, almost everything in the game that exists in the game is in this demo. So like, it was really outsized task. Cause like, but now like we do the next zone, we just have to just plug everything in. We have to make the zone and make the story, like direct the story and make the battles. But all the systems are ready to go. It'll be inordinately fast compared to what we've already done.
Right. So here's a case where I'm going to bring in Sakaran because I really want this defense down that Alex can get. So I'm going to bring in Sakaran, who has a move called Timed In, which basically gives that person the next turn. So I can kind of cheat a little bit. The boss is probably thinking, hey, no fair. So I just, did a lot of damage. Oh, this could be bad. Oh, shoot. You know what? YOLO. Mega Elixir. Okay. We don't.
You know what's really hilarious is that when I play this, I designed this game. I know how many elixirs are because I put the chests all over the dungeon myself, and yet I still won't use Mega Elixirs. It's just so ingrained in your head that you're like, I'm never going to use my elixirs. Who knows? Something might be coming. And this is a demo. There's nothing that comes after this right now.
And you can't even lose it because if you use any items in this battle, spoiler alert, it just comes back.
Yeah. And yet I'm still reluctant. Like, there's something baked into me. I'm like, whoa, can't use a Mega Elixir.
Oh, she's going to die. Okay. No big deal.
Alexandra's told.
Yeah, I love Alexandria. She's one of my favorite characters. Figuring out how to make other people see how good she is has been what I've been thinking about a lot in the past few weeks. Because we brought this to AwesomeCon, and across the board, people thought she was solid, but not the best character. People thought Agatha was the best character. Well, it's interesting. Casual players, and I mean casual with no disrespect, just people who would play your game that like RPGs but maybe aren't like developers or super min-maxers, right? They were like, oh yeah, Agatha's the best. Hands down. And, but then, people who were really high-level players would say that Agatha was one of the worst. Which, I was like, okay, maybe the character's balanced well then. I think Agatha...
As long as...
What's that?
You know the game is balanced when everybody complains about the characters equal. Like, so every character gets equal amounts of complaints. So, if every character all these characters suck, that's actually a really good sign. Like, that means that, the character you were hoping would be OP is fine. But, if you like the game, but all the characters, every character is weak or every character is strong, either of those opinions are great. That means you're right there.
Right. I'm gonna go for broke. Oh, I got a 5, and 4 of them are crits. Nice. That was actually kind of sick. Alright, so I'm going to do a trip mine on this guy. And it has a chance to stun. So let's see if I get it. That did 1,000 damage, though. So that move actually has bonus damage that applies if you have... based on their missing HP. So it's really a move that helps you finish. So I got that little extra... Oh, and that's it. Yeah. So yeah, then you could just refight. So once you beat the boss, you return the heal point. You can fight the boss. Yeah, I mean, it's easy for me, because I'm a god-tier gamer, but... Alright. So that is... that. Actually, give me 1 second. I'm going to pull up the Kickstarter. We can talk about some stuff while I got a few minutes to spare. If anyone has any questions about the demo...
Yeah, we can talk about that quest tier, since it's the biggest tier that's left. It's not super obvious.
Right. Let's see. Can we do a display capture? I'm not showing. Why aren't you? Can you not see my screen? Hold on. I might need to do. There we go. Okay. Perfect. So. Type in exclamation point Kickstarter. So So we're on day 4 of our campaign. We got 26 days to go, and we're really in good shape. Got about 17,000 left to raise, or 15,000, sorry. So you can see more about the thing here. And if you want to play the game, here's your demo. Boom. So, your basic game tier is a $20 game, so you pick $20, you're going to get it, the game. 25, you're going to get your name in the credits. 30, you're going to start getting stuff like the soundtrack. You're going to get Shadows of Adam, which is our first game. And then kind of going on, it just keeps adding from there. You get at $50, you get early access build, which means basically, we'll just give you when we have demos to play and stuff to check out, you'll get first dibs on it. Plus, you'll get this game, Pillars of Dust, which is also developed by us. And then, let's see, we'll keep going up. Get message in a book. You get Discord server role. Starting at 100, you get the design an NPC. We only have 12 spots of that left, so that's kind of running away fast. So if you want that,
yeah, if you want to put your alter ego in the game, you need to move on that.
Yeah, at 150, you can design a monster, and there's only 11 of that left. At 200, you design a hero gear, which I'll show you right here. It's kind of cool. Actually, we need to update these because they're a little more. But yeah, if you can see my screen right here, basically there's 24 slots, right? So Agatha has 2 weapons, Yuna has none, and then everyone has a helmet and armor. So there's 24 slots, and you pledge, and then I'll contact you, and then we'll decide what you want, and then you can join our Discord or whatever, however you want to communicate. You can design it now. You can design it later. There's no rush. Really, I would say the only thing I would want to know is what you'd want to dibs. So if you can call dibs on it, that way I can reserve that slot for you. And basically, these will be in-game weapons. We have some design weapons ourselves, but this could be whatever you think would be a cool setup for that character. We have a lot of levers our equipment can do. So yeah, I hope we hit the Switch stretch goal too. I think we will, but yeah, if we hit the stretch goals for consoles, that means we'll be able to purchase. We'll obviously be developing for the console, but then we'll be able to give keys for those console of your choice. Just a little bit of an overhead associated with it, and developing it, that we had to price it as a stretch goal. So yeah, that's 200, and then 300 you can design a legendary accessory, which is similar but a little more sussed out. 500 is where we have 3 people back here actually. It's 3 spots left.
Gets a little more confusing based on what the description is, but you get to design a quest. Mm-hmm. That means the design a dungeon tier that got sold out. If you were hoping to design a dungeon, my apologies. People really jumped on that. But for the quest tier, it's basically you get to design. It's almost like you get to design a dungeon, but you can't make a new location on the map. You have to use an existing location, but you can design okay, here's what the heroes need to do for this quest. Here's the basic story of the quest, and then you can design a boss and an NPC as part of that. So if you need to have this avatar of your D&D character comes in and says, "I need your help, heroes, let's go back to the Fjordland mines and beat the Batwinged demon." You can get that for $500. That goes in the game, and we'll make it in universe. And we'll smooth all the edges off so that it fits into the Quartet universe, and voila, you will have a side quest that the players can do.
Yeah, and of course, that's not the only one. You get all these other in addition.
Yeah, you get everything before that as well. Yeah.
Right. And yeah, the early bird tier where you got the game for $15 is out, and then $1,000 dungeon tier is out. But yeah, that's that. I encourage everyone to check out the page, and there's lots of information. We have a few updates. I'm gonna do excessive refreshing.
Yes, we are all guilty of that.
But yeah, so got a few minutes left. If anyone has any extra questions, maybe we can watch a little bit of this trailer, which show just a little bit more kind of stuff.
This is how Coronas usually likes to arrive. What's up, bitches? Chad Zeus. Check it out.
You probably can't hear the music, but that's fine. So this is just showing a little snippet of all the different stories that you can choose from at the beginning of the game. And I think the big hook in the game is like, how are these stories going to connect? Because they're all really different. And so, yeah, here's Ben flailing to use magic, but he's doing it very poorly. And then this is just kind of like a sizzle reel of combat.
Ben's a late bloomer.
I appreciate that, Papa Dude. And they're just showing you kind of stuff what I showed you in the demo, just like different combinations, get the M defense debuff, and then boom, big damage. Debuff, big damage. Debuffs are severe but short lasting, so you have to kind of figure out like when you're able. The ones that don't proc 100% usually are like 50%. They're very severe, so it's like, oh, I got it. Okay, let's look at my turn order. Who's in the back? How can I really maximize this? And like we mentioned earlier, everything is built around. You don't have to do that to win, but if you do it, it's rewarding and fun. If that makes sense. It's like a really nuanced gray area, but I think like sometimes games they make these things like required, and then they stop feeling fun and extra. Like there's lots of bosses in modern games where it's like you have to stagger them, and when you stagger them, you have to just like blow them the F up. Not because it's fun, because if you don't do it, the battle will take 2 hours, right? We've all played a game like that. FF7 Remake, even Octopath kind of has that a little bit, and I liked Octopath.
Towards the end, yeah, really Octopath gets pretty bad about that. There's like one strategy.
Right. So anyway, I think that's it. I'm gonna head out and gotta get ready to go to a gig tonight. So, but thanks everyone for hanging out. We'll try to stream decently regularly if we can. If anyone wants to try it out, like I said, there's a demo for y'all, PC, Mac, and Linux, and hope you consider supporting us. If you can't, that's fine too. Just like or retweet, whatever. It's all good for us. So, anyway, thanks everyone for watching, and
yeah, thanks so much.
See y'all later.
All right, take it easy.